Hi, and welcome to day 23 of the Dry Jam Plan. Hope you're having a good day or had a good day. Today, I want to talk about leverage for change. We're going to go through something called the Dickens Process. Now, this is like the Christmas Carol, past, present, and future. And it's actually something that Tony Robbins, if anybody has heard of Tony Robbins, is a very high-profile motivational speaker. He uses this process in his teaching and on his events, and it's so effective. So leverage for change is all about how our mind works, really, and it's a little bit science-based, and it's all about looking ahead. What is going to happen if I don't change my relationship with alcohol. So seeing as we've had sort of 3 weeks of no alcohol, if you're in that camp, if you're not, then you can still do this process and just think about the times when you haven't been drinking and how you felt. But as human beings, we either move towards pleasure and towards something that we want, that looks amazing, and we let go of what we've got at the minute, and we have goals in life, don't we? We all have goals. We all want to improve. We all want to get better. It's part and parcel of our nature. Or the other thing is, instead of moving towards pleasure, we move away from pain. So, we don't think that we should change. We sort of comfortable in where we're at. And I know I was like that with my drinking for a long time. I'd tried so many times to change my drinking patterns and behaviour. I just decided that, you know what, I'm never going to change. This is just how it is. And maybe you're in that space at the minute. But we know we must change deep down often. And obviously by going through this Dry Jam Plan with me, maybe you've come to the conclusion that you need to change your drinking patterns or behaviour. And we do often know that deep down, although we might not vocalise it to other people around us. So, as I said, there's going to be some science and some writing down. And to get the most out of this Dickens process, you just need to spend some time on your own, half an hour, just thinking about, where you're going to be. And I'll run through that shortly. This process is incredibly empowering and actually sustains lasting change. So instead of using willpower, it actually reprograms and rewires our mind and the way we think. And it also affects our nervous system too. It actually puts you in charge of owning that change. You're doing it for you. You're not doing it for anybody else. Focus on changing your beliefs about your drinking patterns. And what we're going to do is look into the future. So the key points really of the process are the leverage for change in yourself and your drinking patterns, your internal representation of how you see your drinking and your drinking patterns and how it affects you and affects others around you. It requires your full focus on this. And it's not just about mental imaging and sort of visualizing how you'll be in the future, but actually feeling the emotions, which is the most important bit. And, where our nervous system kicks in, because at the end of the day, your mind will believe whatever it you focus on. So let me explain that differently. So if you visualize something in the future, your brain doesn't know whether that's reality or fictitious. And that's where we can trick our brains into believing that we are in a different place to where we are at the moment. Anyway, you'll see what I mean when we move forward. So let's get started. Take some paper or your journal, sit down, close your eyes and look at your life exactly how it is right now in this moment with your drinking patterns. Think about your relationship at the moment with booze and just reflect on the consequences in the different areas of your life. So how does it affect you, your drinking? Who does it affect? Relationships, your health, your well-being, your mental state, your relationships with those close to you, what impact does it have? And the financial consequences too, because it's not cheap, is it? What about your self-esteem? What about your confidence? What about your energy levels? Are you tired all the time? Does it have any spiritual impacts on you? What does it do to your spiritual energy? And I'm a Christian, and I have a deep faith in God and Jesus Christ. How does it affect you spiritually in that realm? If you can, have a connection with your spiritual self. So I want you to write down how it's affecting you now. And then what I want you to do is I want you to move ahead in your mind's eye to 5 years. Imagine where you'll be in 5 years' time if you don't change your drinking patterns and your habits. And what I want you to do is take those feelings and experiences into the future. So I really want you to dig down deep into the emotions. And it can be quite upsetting, and it's not a pleasant experience, but it's really important that you do this. Feel the consequences of you drinking still in 5 years' time, because we all know our tolerance goes up to get that buzz. So how much will you be drinking in 5 years' time? What will have been the consequences of your relationships, of work, of finances, missed opportunities, maybe promotions at work, missed opportunities with the kids, they're 5 years older, if you've got children, or with those that you love, your parents. Who does it affect? What does your drinking pattern and your habits, how does it affect other people in 5 years' time? So write all that down and really feel into that. And then the next step is to look 10 years ahead. Visualize your future self, what you will look like a decade from now, as if nothing's changed with your drinking habits or patterns. How will you feel, do you think? What will your relationships be like? What will your work be like? Again, financially, what's the impact? And just write those things down and really, again, feel into it. And then move on to your future self in 20 years' time. What does your life look like now in 20 years? Just visualize that in your mind's eye, really feel into it. Reflect on the physical side of what alcohol's done to your health and well-being, your mental health, your emotional and spiritual well-being, and again, the financial costs, the cost to relationships. So this exercise aims to inspire personal change and transformation. That's what it's all about. It's creating enough pain and vivid future scenes in your head and your heart and your emotions to prompt the brain to change your current situation with your drinking habits and patterns at the minute, and helping you to see in the future how that's going to look if you don't change, whether or not you want to give up for good, or whether you just want to moderate or just drink occasionally. Whatever camp you fit into, it really doesn't matter. It's just visualizing and feeling how things are going to be in 5, 10, 20 years' time. And it's like a commitment to avoiding what you're seeing in the future and what you're writing down. It's crucial for effective change, visualizing the future and what's going to happen and how things are going to be if you don't make changes around your drinking patterns. So now that's all the doom and gloom out of the way. The next thing is basically like Scrooge wakes up on Christmas morning and it's not happened. He's still alive and he's happy. So let's now drop that doom and gloom, let's snap out of the future scenarios and realise that obviously that's not happened yet. So wipe the tears away. Let's get a little bit more buoyant, and let's acknowledge that we can actually shape our future. We really can. By letting yourself feel those emotions, when you were looking at your future self, it embeds into your nervous system and psyche what the real cost of your drinking will have if you don't make those changes. But flipping now back to today, and like Scrooge waking up on Christmas morning, all the fantastic and great things that you can do if you don't have alcohol holding you back. You've experienced 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks of no alcohol if you've stuck to it and stayed on the wagon. But even if you haven't, even if you've had windows of weeks, a couple of weeks without alcohol, just thinking back to how good that's felt, what improvements have you seen psychologically, physically, things around you, your work, where's your headspace been, what your energy levels are like, and just really tap into the benefits that you've had not drinking during January. Changing those beliefs around what not drinking brings to you, and realizing and tapping into how amazing you can feel, is a great reset for you. And it helps to start rewire your brain. So, true change is a combination between moving away from pain, which is where you were when you were drinking, and you really deep down knew that you needed to make changes, and stepping into all the amazing experiences we can have through making changes with our drinking patterns. I know my life is certainly I always say my life's like in Technicolor now, because everything, just being in the moment, just gratitude, just experiencing things around me and standing and taking notice in the moment and just being grateful for things. So to finish, just write down a list of all the positives that you've felt, you've seen, you've heard others say. Maybe they've noticed things that you're not drinking. They've noticed, maybe you're happier, you're glowing. People say your eyes get clearer. You look, your skin glows. So embrace all those changes that have happened during January. And I hope that's helped. I'll sign off now, and please do sit and do this, because it is an extremely powerful exercise to do. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.